Hi Flosstube, it's Helen D. I'm back today with just a quick little kind of DIY, I guess. I put together these little beading tins to take with me for table gifts to the library Stitchers Retreat. A lot of times at retreats, sometimes people will make something for everyone, like a little something for every attendee, and that's a lot. That's a lot of things and a lot of people. So lately what we've noticed is that people are making just a little something for their table mates. So usually that's, 6 per table, maybe 8 per table, so it's very much more manageable. And I like that idea of a little something for your table mates. So what I decided to make were beading kits. This is the beading tin that I use every time I'm working on a mill hill or a mira or anything that needs beads or sequins, and I kind of put this together myself. I cleaned it up for you today. It was much messier than this. So it has a beading needle minder. Emmy is meowing at you. Nymo thread, size B, which is what I like to use. I have a dark one and a white one, a clear. You can tell which one I've used more of. And then these are kind of leftover magnets from the Mill Hill kits. So it's kind of built up over time, but I have my beading needles and then just some extra needles from the kits that are kind of tucked in here. And that way I know that anytime I'm doing some beading, I can just grab and go with this. So that's what I decided to put together. So here are the little ones that I did. So that's the outside, and then on the inside, I made beading needle minders, which I'll walk you through. I included a package of the Mill Hill needles and a little package of the Nymo thread. We'll talk about these things after. And a magnet, just so that when you've got your needles in there, everything stays. So let's make the needle minder and walk through kind of putting these together. So the beading needle minder is great because a lot of people, you can use a tacky bob or a tacky bill, which is basically kind of this, I don't know if it's bedallion or beadalon. It's this sticky mat that you can dump your beads on and then they don't fall off. The thing that makes it harder for me with those is that they're in like a CD case almost. So they're kind of on the table and you have to reach for them and all that. With the needle minder, it uses this same stuff, but then you can put it right on your project. So I find it a lot easier. She might walk through here, folks. Everyone that wants to see Emmy, look out. You can reach those beads easier, and it only holds a few at a time, but that's kind of enough. And then you just kind of refill it. Emmy, really? So that's what we'll be doing. So to do that, I used covered buttons. Now, I had done a lot of things with covered buttons in the past. My needle minder is actually not a covered button. It is like a badge, like a pin badge, that I just put this sticky stuff on, and you can tell mine's not even cut in a very nice circle. But the covered buttons that I used for these are a little bigger, so they hold a little more. So they are a size 60 covered button. So I ordered mine, and I will list all of the things that I used below, but shop around, right? I'll kind of list them so you can figure out what they are, but you might find better prices or something that you prefer better. So I got these on Amazon. It was a pack of, I think, 25, and it comes with the front and then the back, and I chose to get the flat back. If there's a choice, get the flat back, because then you don't have to cut off the button part, like, because you can use these to sew on, and they have like a little loop that you would sew through, and then you can cut that off to get it flat. If you get the flat back, that's one step already done. So I have my covered buttons. Now, because I had done this before, I already owned this, which is the little tools that you use to make the buttons in the right size. They do have at like Joann's and probably online like a starter kit that would come with this set, a couple of buttons, and like a cardboard piece that you use as a template. If you're buying the multi-pack, you do actually need this. I haven't found any kind of alternative for this kind of part. So keep that in mind. The other thing I have that is not necessary, but I'm using because I have it, is I have a set of these clear templates for the different sizes, and they have a hole in them so that when you're, if you were doing an actual button and it was a fabric that you wanted to make sure the piece of fabric had a pattern on it, that you saw it, you kind of center it in this hole. So I have this, I'm using it, but in the little starter kit, it comes with a piece of cardboard. Actually, I think it's the back of the package. So what I used to make these is I had a little 2.5 square charm pack. So I went in, I pulled some, they happened to have like cross stitches on them. I took my template. You could use any kind of fabric you want. These just happened to be just the right size, and it was a good way to kind of use them up. So you can see, maybe because it's clear, it fits right on there. So I'm just going to hold it on there and take some scissors and kind of go around the edges just to make this a circle. As close as I can get it, but it's all going to get tucked in, so I'm not super worried about it. So then I have my circle-ish piece of fabric. So you take your covered button thing, which is kind of a dish, put your fabric on it, put your button so that the concave, right, the smooth side is going down, and kind of center it up as best you can to get that fabric even, so there's no spots that won't fit on the inside. So you just push that in. Now you can see on the other side again, if you had something with a pattern that you were trying to make sure is right, you can see what the outside would look like if you need to pop it out and redo it. Now's the time. So this one is fine. So then you kind of have to shove all this extra fabric down in, and then use the back, which also has a perfectly flat side, and then the edge kind of goes up a little. You want that upside kind of down so that it tucks right in there. And it's kind of the natural fit. So you put that in there, you make sure all your edges are in, then you take this like bottle cap thing and push it on there to hold it, and then you kind of squeeze it. Now sometimes these go together real easy. Sometimes I have to go and put it on a hard floor and step on it with my heel. I'm gonna put this off camera just with my palms. I don't know if you heard the pop, but it popped in. If I step on it with my heel, usually it pops right in. Then you just pop that out and you're done. So let me set those things aside. So now I have a covered button with a flat back, and now I'm gonna make the sticky stuff to go in there. So the sticky stuff, I guess we don't need that box yet. The sticky stuff is this, the bead-along or the medallion mat. And I'm just gonna cut a circle. Here's one I already used. This does come in different sizes, but I will warn you. It had this big size, and I thought, oh, that'll be great because I can get a whole bunch out of there. Well, I really couldn't because it wasn't all the same texture. Like you could if you didn't care about what the texture looked like, but seems these were gifts, I kind of cared. So these blue ones actually for me have worked better. I did not go into a store and look and see if they had a different brand like in the beading section, but they might. So I'm gonna take this, and it's got a clear top to it. And I'm gonna come in here with one of my extra backs, lift it up, and I'm gonna put my back right on there. I'm gonna try and line it up. I wanna get as many out of here as possible, so I'm lining it up as close as I can to the edge. Right on there. Then I'm gonna take my scissors and just get it off this piece. So again, I'm trying to kind of cut it close because I'm thrifty. So now I have on there, and I'm just going to go around and trim this up. and it actually trims up better than you would think. It's sticky, but not super sticky. So, and I'm kind of trimming in a little bit because I got a piece of the plastic on me. It has to fit on the inside of this. So sometimes it takes a little bit of hit or miss to get it the right size. So once I think I have it how I want it, I can look on the other side and see, like, is it pretty much a circle? Is it way off? Trim up what I need to, and then I'll try and stick it in and see how it looks. So I'm going to take my button and use a little piece of the Score tape, S-C-O-R, which is a double-sided acid-free tape that rips really easy. And I'm just going to peel off. I might actually cut this and just put a little piece of this right in. Push it down. Then I can peel the wrapper part off. Then I'm going to peel this off because this has a protective coating on one side still, and then the sticky part is on my metal. I'm going to peel that off and see if I got it so it will fit in here. If not, I may need to do a little more trimming, but you can kind of eyeball it. Yeah, that's not going to fit. So I just need to trim this up, and I might just eyeball trim it because I need it to be a little smaller. There we go. So now I can tuck this right in there, push it down good because this is the coating side. I may, after the video, I may pop this out and kind of trim this corner up a little more, but for tutorial purposes, that's good enough, but you can make it as perfect as you want it to be. So now you just need to glue on your magnets. I've been using magnets that I bought on Amazon. They're the rare earth magnets, and these are 10 millimeter by 2 millimeter. So they're a decent size. They're perfect for needle minders. I use them for finishing too, just whatever. So I'm going to go in with the E600, and I won't do this because then it would need to dry. So the E600 glue, and I would just put a dab of glue right on the back, put my magnet right on, set it aside, let it dry. So once this is dried, all you need to do is assemble. So the boxes, it was a set of 10. Again, I'll put a link below. So it was a set of 10 boxes. They each had a little plastic piece, which I kind of kept to keep them safe. So I took my box, opened it up, and I put, we'll go with this one because I need this needle minder. I have my needle minder with the glued on back. I have a back for the needle minder. I decided to put that on the top, and I just cut a little piece of paper just so that when you're pulling it off of there, it makes it a little easier, right, to kind of just pull that off to use. So I have my needle minder in there. Then I took another magnet and put it down in. Anywhere, doesn't really matter. And then I included my beading needles. I prefer the sharp short, but there is a longer version, so whichever one you prefer. And the Nymo thread. I left it all on the card so that if people are looking for more, they kind of would know what it is. Now, the Nymo thread, Mill Hill makes some. The Beadalon Battalion makes some. It's the same stuff. I got this. It was a little bobbin. It's 9 yards. I figured this was perfect for these kits because it has all the information on it. You know, so if people wanted to get more, they would know what it is. My box has that spool, because I use quite a bit of it. So you can also buy it in a spool. Also, I found, which instead of buying these, although they do have the information on it, I found that you could buy, I found this online, this is a big spool. So it was a much better value. It's the size B, which is the size that you want, and it was a much bigger spool. I could have then bobbinated my own and just wrote a little note to say where I got it. So that's another option if you want to put them together, but I didn't find that until after I'd bought this. So, and then the only other thing that I'm going to put in here is I'm going to print out a little note that tells people, you know, that there is a protective coating on here because you can't see it. So you just, when you're using it, you peel that coating off. I usually peel it off and throw it in the box until I'm done, and that helps keep the sticky part a little cleaner. It does pick up cat hair, dust, right? Other stuff like that. So on the note, I'll say, you know, remove the coating when you're ready to use it, put it back on when you're done. If it does get kind of unsticky, it loses its stick, you can then just peel this right off. It peels right off with that double-sided tape because there's some sticky on this side too. Rinse it off right in the faucet. Rinse it right off, let it dry, it gets sticky again. And then you're good to go. And then the last thing that I did was I had found some stickers. I bought mine online. If you had a Cricut or a Silhouette or something, you could make your own. You could leave it plain, right? So I'll just peel this off, center it up as best I can, and then I have my little beading kit. So again, I will put all of the source information down below if it's something you're interested in, but you know, look around if you can source something different or have something different on hand that would already work. So just thought you guys might like to see how I put these together and if it's something you're interested in, and I hope this was helpful. Bye.